Okay, so today I want to share a concept, an idea that I love. I listen to a lot of different things. I rotate throughout the day. Sometimes I get frustrated because I want to listen to two things at once. I almost wish I had 4 ears. I know that sounds weird. I need more sensory inputs. I'd probably have a total meltdown. Anyways, so the story series is The Mark of the Fool. If you guys have Audible subscription, it's a young adult one, so a lot of people probably might skip it thinking it's not interesting, but it is interesting, and it's really well written if you follow the character development. I absolutely love how the main character develops throughout the series. Anyways, The Mark of the Fool, the concept behind it is that this young man gets this mark. He's supposed to be super special, part of the hero group, but he, due to his mark, due to his, the role he has to play in the group, he's limited. He can't actually fight. He can't actually cause harm. There's things, he's restricted, right? He's set within these limitations, but he learns to think and he learns to adapt. And throughout the entire book, every time a problem occurs that he can't fight it traditionally or solve it traditionally, right, the author has done this thing where the main character says, okay, think and adapt. We don't do that enough as humans, okay? I don't know if the author realizes how absolutely brilliant that was, because by the time you're done listening to the audio series, I'm not done. There's a lot of books. It's actually a great series that way too. But when you're listening to the audio series, you keep hearing that over and over again, right? So by the time you're done, that whole concept, think and adapt, it's a great mantra to have repeated. So I appreciate it. Anyways, the think and the adapt part for me is that when you are in flow, when you are surrendering to your highest purpose, when you are choosing to not try to force things to happen the way you want them to, but choosing to let your higher self, your source, guide you, right? God, whatever you want to call it, guide you to your highest good, to your highest purpose. Sometimes things go wonky. Sometimes you find yourselves in positions you didn't expect to find yourself in, or something unexpected happens. I mean, I have not yet once had a day that goes the way I think it's going to go. Unless, of course, I'm staying at home and having it. I have a lot of quiet days. I spend a lot of days just, I guess, you would say, in communion with source energy. I don't really know how to describe it. It's interesting, though. I actually feel grounded today. I feel like I'm on Earth, so I might actually do Earth stuff. That sounds silly to say. Anyways, the point though is, right, as you're in flow and you're surrendering and you're going down the river of life and you're not fighting the current and you're letting it take you wherever it takes you, you're going to find yourself in new and uncomfortable situations. Because that's the point of this life, is to have experiences that are new and are uncomfortable, because that's how you expand, that's how you grow, and that's what the universe wants to do. It wants to expand, it wants to grow, and it created us almost like, you could almost say neurons in a brain. It created us to expand and grow, right? If we were the brain of the universe, would we be the neurons, or would we be the neuron transmitters? It's a good question. I know you're like, what's the point of that question? You never know. It's worth answering, though. If you got an answer, I'd like to hear it, because that's going to bug me all day now until I figure that out. What would we be? It's a good question. Okay, anyways, back to the topic. Think and adapt. So, adapting, you want to always adapt. That's going to be the easiest flow. Meaning, when I say think and adapt, you're not going to adapt meaning trying to make things happen the way you want. So you're adapting by manipulating everything to force your way. When I say think and adapt, I mean you're adapting yourself. Okay? Not the situation, not the people, not the objects. You're adapting yourself. So if you end up in an unexpected situation with unexpected people, maybe in an unexpected place, you're the one who's adapting. So when you're thinking, okay, you have to think, what is the easiest thing for me to do right now? What would be, out of all my options, the best feeling inwardly, physically for me to do right now? And let your body guide you. If you can't emotionally figure it out, because maybe, like for me, sometimes I get overwhelmed around people, so my brain is not going to help me very much, so I'm not going to be processing or analyzing my emotions. But my body, I can tell now, right, by sensations in my body, right, the uncomfortable feeling I get in the pit of my stomach, or the warm, relaxing feeling I get in my shoulders, or I get like a tingling sensation up my spine to my scalp sometimes. There's different things that if you start to pay attention, you'll find correlate with different situations, choices, behaviors. So you can start recognizing how your body talks to you as well, and use those to guide you to choosing the path of least resistance in every situation. And that's what adapting is. You want to flow. You want to accept this is what's happening right now, not resist it. Because if you resist it, it's going to persist. Resistance creates persistence. So you want to, if you have to, just take a moment, maybe breathe. Maybe you have to go to the bathroom and be like, this shit is not what I wanted. You're allowed to have that too. But then be like, okay, but this is what's happening, so this is what we're gonna do, right? And then you adapt. You think and you adapt. You're allowed to, and maybe later on you might actually have to let yourself have a little meltdown or a little freak out because why did that happen? You gotta let it out. You don't want to hold in the emotion. You gotta let it out somehow. I mean, some people like running, some people like crafting arts, right? Whatever works for you. However you want to, just go outside and scream. That's totally cool too. I think people should record their screaming. I want to see a trend on TikTok of people screaming at their frustrations. Why would that be so amusing? I think it would just be exciting, actually, not amusing. It would be exciting to see people embracing that sort of freedom, because it is like we all have that anxiety of being seen when we are expressing what needs to be expressed, whether it's, a negative emotion or a happy emotion. If we express it too loudly or too boldly, we're afraid of people seeing it. So I think if we saw a bunch of people screaming at their frustrations as a trend, I think it would be exciting because we can all relate, Yeah, just a thought. But think and adapt. So as you go throughout your week, that's coming up, and your week next week, or whatever day you watch this on, when you find yourself and your nervous system starting to freak out, starting to relax, the first thing you want to do is say, I'm safe. I am safe. Because number one rule I've always given myself, and I recommend this for anyone, is always know you can turn around and just walk away. You don't have to deal with it. If you can't deal with something, you owe no one nothing. No one deserves an explanation. No one is owed an explanation. You can just be like, nope, I can't do this right now. Fuck it. And just leave. You can. That is totally 100% you're right as an adult, as a human. Fuck it, I'm leaving. Okay? So I always remind myself that I am safe. I am in control of myself. I can keep myself safe. And once I find that out, I'm like, okay, now, this is fucking me up right now and I don't like it. So I'm going to breathe, and I'll breathe. And then I'm like, okay, think and adapt. And then sometimes I'll ask myself why I don't like it, because sometimes if I can quickly discern why I'm not liking the situation, that will give me an alternate solution. Other times, if I can't figure it out, I'm too overwhelmed, I'll be like, okay, so I'm just going to think about something I can do right now. And then I'll find a target to keep myself busy, whether it's helping somebody in the kitchen or just something until I can get out of the situation and actually calm myself down properly. That's the worst case scenario for me. That's like the absolute worst, right? When you're stuck somewhere you really can't, and you want to freak out, but you can't. Otherwise, you might find that there's so many solutions to things that if you just relaxed before, life would have been a lot more fun. I'm not kidding. It's kind of crazy. Think out of the box. Who has to follow rules? Anyways, bye!